How you determine the equity splits between you and your co-founders is a key indicator that the relationship between you and your co-founders will work out. Unless you and your co-founders are happy with the results of the equity splits, there are likely problems ahead. Over 50% of all co-founder relationships end up in failure. In today's video, I'll explore how you can structure the equity splits between you and your co-founders to give you the best chance for things to work out. And I'll explain how to protect you and your company just in case things don't work out. We'll cover a lot of ground in today's video. We'll cover the obvious stuff like equity splits. And you'll want to wait around to the end of today's video when I talk about some not so obvious stuff, like what happens if you invest in your startup and your co-founder doesn't invest in your startup. What happens to the equity in that particular case? I've built several businesses to over $100 million per year in revenue. And I've had my own share of co-founder issues as well. And I've worked with a lot of CEOs that have had co-founder challenges also. I know what works when it comes to co-founder relationships, and I know what doesn't work when it comes to co-founder relationships. Let's start with the equity splits between you and your co-founders. When you think about the equity you need to start your company, you need to break it up into two piles. There's the pile for you and your co-founders, and there's the pile for your future employees. And you want that second pile, the pile for your future employees, to last about 2 years. The easy way to figure this out is to develop a hiring plan for the next 2 years of your company. And then in that hiring plan, determine how much equity each position is going to add up to. Then add all of this up, and that's going to tell you how much equity you need for your hiring plan for your company. Now, this should last you about 2 years. Roughly, as a rule of thumb, this should be about 20% of the equity for your company. That leaves about 80% for you and your co-founders. Now, what should this look like? Now, let's start with what this shouldn't look like. If you're thinking that it's 99% for you and 1% for your co-founder or something like that, then you know what? You're off to the wrong start. Be generous with the equity splits between you and your co-founders. Now, here's my basic rule. You should feel good about the equity split between you and your co-founders, and your co-founders should feel good about it as well. If you hit that mark, then you're poised for success. If you're not already a subscriber, then hit that subscribe button right now, and you'll get notified every time I release a new video. You will likely have the most knowledge of how equity works and what to ask for. Your co-founders may not know what to ask for, even regarding their own equity. So you're going to have to lead the discussions regarding the equity splits between you and your co-founders. And you're going to have to educate your co-founders on why you're proposing what you're proposing. Now remember, be fair and generous. Finally, there shouldn't be a huge amount of negotiation between you and your co-founders when it comes to equity splits. If there is a lot of negotiation and the negotiation turns testy, then it's at least a yellow flag of problems to come. What about 50-50 splits between two co-founders, or even splits between multiple co-founders, like 33-33-33 between 3 co-founders? I believe the CEO should have the most equity because the CEO is the leader of the company. You're going to have the most responsibility, so you should own the most equity. Now, however, this shouldn't be crazily weighted towards you. A split like 60-40 between you and your co-founder sounds about right. Not 99-1 like my previous example. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then hit that like button right now. Now let's get into the not so obvious things that you have to deal with. Before you do anything, I recommend that you get a lawyer that's familiar with setting up shareholder agreements for startups to help you and your co-founders. It's good money well spent. First, Let's talk about vesting schedules. All stock, all equity, including yours and your co-founders, needs to vest over time, period. It's the best defense you have against a co-founder that doesn't work out. The vesting schedule that is universally accepted is a 4-year vesting schedule with a 1-year cliff. Let me show you how this works in reality. Let's say you and your co-founder have agreed that your co-founder will get 40% of the equity in your startup. Let's see how this works in reality. Now in month 0 through month 12, nothing vests because of the 1-year cliff. Now at the end of month 12, 10% of the equity vests. And now for the remainder of the time, for that remainder 36 months, each month, 0.833% of your co-founder's equity vests each month. The second issue is, what if a late co-founder joins your team? Now, what's a late co-founder? A late co-founder is somebody that joins the company significantly later than the initial founders who join the company, but before the initial funding comes in. Now, I had a late co-founder, so I'm very familiar with this issue. Now, the reality is your other co-founders may be unhappy if you give your new co-founder too much equity. Remember, equity is all about the future impact that someone is going to have on the company. In my particular case, I gave my late co-founder the most equity of anyone on the team because he deserved it. Now, I was open about this with my co-founder, so there were no surprises about what I was up to. Now, the easy way to explain this is to explain it in terms of dilution. Now, the reality is everybody's going to get diluted when you add another co-founder. However, if this co-founder ups the chances of the success of your company significantly, then it's worth it to add him or her to the mix and to give him or her the amount of equity that you're giving them, because it's going to increase the value of the company for everybody. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Now, third, what do you do if you invest money in your company and your co-founder doesn't invest money in your company? This is a very common scenario. Now, let me walk you through it. Let's say you own 60% of your company and your co-founder owns 40% of your company, and you've decided you're going to invest $100,000 of your own money in the company. Let's further say the company is worth $1 million at this early stage. So that means your investment now of $100,000 gives you 10% of the company. Now let's go through how this works in reality. Now the first thing is your investment is treated differently than your founder equity is treated. Why is that? Well, because now you're acting as an investor. Now this should be preferred stock that vests immediately, because in this mode that you're in this role that you're playing as an investor, it's just like any other investor. The equity is there immediately because you've earned it with the investment of your money into the company. Now, the second thing is you and your co-founder's equity will be diluted by 10% each. Let's take a look at how this works. In this case, your equity piece will start out at 60%, but get diluted by 10%, which means you'll lose 6%, which means you'll end up with 54% founder equity. Now, your co-founder will start off with 40%. He'll get diluted by 10% as well, so he'll be down now to 36%. However, you gain back 10% as a founder and an investor total. So now you go 54% plus 10%, which gives you 64% total. Your co-founder loses the 4%, so he's down to 36% total. So it all adds up. Finally, don't force your co-founder to invest. It's okay. And in fact, maybe it's even preferable that they don't invest because it reduces the complications just in case things don't work out between you and your co-founder. Okay, we've completed our review of equity splits and how they work. What did you learn from today's video? Put that in the comments column below today's video. And if you have any questions, I'd love to hear them. Put them in the comments column below today's video too. Now I have one more thing for you today. I have a free startup pitch deck. It has all the slides you need to pitch your company to investors. All you need to do to get your free startup pitch deck is click the link below today's video and it's yours for free. Now for more great content from me, all you have to do is just wait around about 20 seconds or so and some links are going to pop up and all you need to do is just click them and you're on to the next great video. If you want to subscribe to my channel, then hit that subscribe button right now. If you want to like today's video, then hit the like button right now too. I'd certainly appreciate it. Now, I've really enjoyed speaking with you today. My name is Brett at brettjfox.com. Thank you so much. I'll see you again next week. Take care. Bye.